Yes, I'm wearing tights. Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Got a really cool video for you today. Something I've been wanting to talk about for a while now. My first backpacking trip and what I carried and what you shouldn't carry on your first backpacking trip if you are in the planning stages of that. If you end up liking this video, hit that like button. Let me know that you want to see more videos like this in the future, and I'll keep putting them out there for you. Okay, so my first backpacking trip, August 2013. I went to Lake Vesuvius with 3 of my dude buddies. Oh man, here she is. Here's the backpack. I still got it. Good old trusty Walmart Outdoor Products non-backpacking backpack. This is just almost looks like a normal school backpack here. Definitely a little bit more bells and whistles than an average pack because it's got water bottle holders on the sides and some mesh in the front. Not your ideal backpacking bag by any means at all. It's what I had at the time, and I thought it would do the trick just fine. And it did. It got me into a hobby that has now cost me thousands of dollars. So starting off already kind of on the wrong foot here with backpacking, but whatever gets your foot in the door works. I mean, I personally think that everybody's first backpacking trip should be with a terrible backpack, way too much weight than you should carry, and it should just be a kind of an eye-opening experience. My first backpacking trip was not perfect in any means at all, and I wouldn't take it back though. I knew before I even left the woods, I was already planning in my head other backpacking trips and trying to take my wife out. As soon as I was in the woods and I had this feeling of not knowing where I was going to sleep that night and just carrying everything that I needed for a couple days on my back, I knew I loved that feeling. I knew it was an addiction for me immediately. So what did I carry in this bag that made my trip so miserable? I mean, memorable, but miserable to say the least. I put this thing on my back. We were trying to find the trailhead. I'm walking around the parking lot, and I remember thinking, man, how am I going to carry this? This thing is so heavy. Like, it hurt bad before we even left the parking lot. Immediately after putting it on, it felt terrible. Normal backpacks like this don't distribute the weight properly for backpacking. If I pack this thing completely full, it's going to stick 2 feet off my back, and all that weight's going to be pulling me backwards. So food and water. I honestly don't remember what I brought for food on that trip, but water, I brought a 2-liter water bladder and 2 bottles similar to this. This was actually one of them that I had. I just dug this out specifically for this video. These are overkill. Water bottles like this, I think the conception is it's sturdy. If you drop your water bottle, you're not going to break it and lose all your precious water. It kind of has somewhat of an insulating value to where if it's colder, your water might not freeze as fast. Truth be told is this is just extra weight that you do not need. And don't get me wrong, if you carry Nalgene's or anything like that, that's fine. Whatever works for you. If you're not into super ultralight minimalist backpacking, a bottle like this might be absolutely great. But if you are a gram weenie, if you are counting your ounces, trying to drop all the weight you can, you might want to go with something like this. This is about 6 ounces empty. This is about 1.5 ounces. And not to mention, it has more carrying capacity. So I had 2 of these, over probably 1.5 pounds a piece. And I also had a 2-liter water bladder filled completely full. So I had tons of water. Something I could have definitely dropped weight on is if I would have carried a water filter. I didn't know anything about water filtering back then, and it has saved me tons of weight because water is the heaviest thing you're going to carry when you're backpacking. My water bladder itself, 2-liter with the hose coming around, I don't use water bladders anymore. They're actually pretty heavy when they're empty, and I've been cutting weight for years now. And that was one of the first things that went. It is convenient and it is nice to have. And I still use bladder packs, biking and maybe on day hikes and stuff. I'm not carrying everything I need for a week's worth of travel on my back. They're really convenient and nice. But if you're hiking multiple days and you're carrying so much weight that every little bit counts, you can throw that bladder out. You really don't need it. It's not that much of a hassle to reach behind you and grab your water bottle out. All right, so let's get more into the big four. You already saw the backpack, outdoor products, my tent. 8x7 Quest brand tent from Dick's Sporting Goods. It is an 8-pound tent. That's 8 pounds for shelter alone. Not light in the slightest, not meant for backpacking. It's a good tent. I still have it. I still use it every now and then. I've slept with my dog in it a few times. It was a good test tent for her. 3 of us on that trip actually slept in that tent, so it kind of helped some people out that I provided the shelter for the trip. Sleeping bag. I had a Eureka 15-degree sleeping bag, and I've used this bag a lot. It's in a lot of my videos. I actually used it as recently as last December. I think I had it in Mohican. I've used it up until I started getting more expensive, better quality down quilts. Down quilts are where it's at. The weight that you save using down is amazing, and you pretty much get more warmth than a synthetic material. But the Eureka sleeping bag weighs 4.5 pounds, I believe. So we're already over 12 pounds with just the tent and just the sleeping bag. But the sleeping bag is decent. It was actually one of the only almost good backpacking pieces of gear that I brought on this trip. Okay, sleeping pad. No sleeping pad. I didn't know what a sleeping pad was. I don't know. None of us even thought to have anything to lay on. And the area where we ended up camping was so overgrown that there was just so much cushion on the ground that I didn't even think about having a sleeping pad all night. Clothing for the trip was interesting. I definitely brought way too many layers. I believe I wore a t-shirt the whole evening and into the morning. I'm pretty sure I brought 2, maybe 3 layers of clothing. I probably brought a disposable poncho, I assume. I don't remember, but I'm pretty sure that's what I would have done at the time. But hoodies, like an Under Armour base layer, totally not necessary for Ohio in late August. Now, that being said, bringing extra layers is not a bad thing. It comes with experience backpacking and experience being outside, knowing what your body can handle, knowing the climate, the area that you're at, to know what you're really going to need. I hardly ever bring extra clothing now. Pretty much everything I bring, I use on every trip, and I don't advise people to just start off not bringing extra clothes, because if you're going to bring extra of anything, it's clothes and probably food too, because I've made that mistake in the past too. But you definitely don't want to be an inexperienced backpacker and not bring enough clothing, because man, that will just ruin your trip if you're freezing all night long. Backpacking pants. I wore jeans. I never been a khaki guy, so I don't even think I owned khakis at the time, but I brought an extra pair of jeans. An extra pair. You know, we were going to Lake Vesuvius, so I didn't know if there was a lot of water crossings or how marshy it would be. I had no idea going into this what it was going to be like. I just wanted to be prepared that if I fell in the lake or if I fell in a creek crossing, I wouldn't freeze to death because I didn't have any other pants to put on. Looking back at it now, late August, I mean, an extra pair of shorts, like thin little athletic shorts, would have been perfect for like camp shorts or a backup if I needed something to wear. Bringing along a pair of 3-pound jeans was not the best decision at all, and it definitely just was worthless. Things that I brought that I had to carry for 16 miles and did not use at all. I'm going to bring up a clip here of that trip. I actually have a video on my channel. It's like the second video I posted was the first backpacking trip I went on. I don't recommend watching it. It's just a bunch of shaky footage. It wasn't even meant to be a video. I just brought the GoPro because I had it, and I just started turning it on and ended up making a video out of it. But I'm going to show you some footage from that trip right now. Okay, so here we are. Alright, there she is. There's the outdoor products. You can see my tent poles in my bag here. My sleeping bag bungee strap to the back. That's pretty comical. It actually took me like a long time to figure out this configuration. You can see my metal water bottles here, carabine to the compression straps on the side. Now this back here, I actually brought a grill that was probably that long by that wide, and that wasn't very heavy, and it actually served us very well. We all cooked our food on that. Find another clip here of it. There she is. It's like the only good clip I have of a side angle of it. Just looks ridiculous, but it did the trip. I mean, I'm estimating that bag, as it sits in that picture, close to 45, 50 pounds. You can see actually right here, I have a pair of boots, and I'm wearing a set of New Balance Trail Runners. I knew that hiking in these boots might not work. I knew they were pretty worn and it might cause a lot of pain. So I actually strapped Trail Runners that I had just bought to the back of my bag, thinking they're light, you know, if I need them, it'll be a lifesaver. And I ended up using them on day one. We probably hiked 5 or 6 miles before I had to get out of those boots. And those shoes were awesome on that trip. The only downside being that I had to carry my 8-pound boots hanging off the back of my backpack again. So it just made everything even heavier, but it was worth it for the comfort my feet had. Now back here, some of you guys might have seen this. This is the good old trusty, I call her, the Red Cloud 90 by Kelty. It's my first real backpacking bag. It's a 6-pound bag, empty. Super, super heavy. I do love it though, and I still use it from time to time. If I'm just gonna go out and do like a little bushcraft overnighter, want to carry like an axe on the side, a bunch of extra stuff that I would never think about taking backpacking, hiking with the girls and stuff. If I got to carry extra gear, it still works great. It's comfortable. I like it. It's overkill though. Once you start getting smaller gear, like my sleeping bag, that now is this big. So I probably wouldn't even fill this thing half full if I went to take it out on a solo trip by myself. I'm going to bring up a picture here, actually. This is a good one. Okay, this is my second backpacking trip. This was me and my wife in North Carolina. Now look at this setup. This guy knows what he is doing. Am I right? 2 sleeping pads. I learned about sleeping pads and I jumped on that train right away. Had one here for the wife because her first backpacking trip, she got the same experience I did. She got the luxury of using that outdoor products bag for her first trip. She was not happy with that. We actually had ordered her a bag already and it didn't come yet. It actually came like the next day after we left for North Carolina. But she used that bag much, much lighter than when I used it. And believe it or not, in this picture, that bag weighs 29 pounds, which is not terrible at all for your second time backpacking, not really knowing what's going on. And let's look at this. Check out this machete here. I don't know what I was thinking with that. I had just learned how to like process wood and baton wood down. And I think I just assumed I needed the biggest knife possible. Back here I had big winter gloves. Very lightweight glove would be perfectly fine. I mean, these would be fine if it was like down into the 10s, and I don't think it dropped into the 40s that night. I actually have my Mountain Hardwear rain jacket on here. It was brand new at this time. Still like that thing, just a little bit too heavy for long distance backpacking. Backpacking is an evolution. Everybody that backpacks out there has bought the wrong gear several times before they found the right gear. There's a lot of gear out there that's misleading, that's really expensive, that really is overkill. It's either too heavy or it's just too many bells and whistles. Some people, that's cool. I miss the organization of this backpack. There's a lot of things I miss about the days when I wasn't an ultralight backpacker. The convenience of having all these pockets and stuff, it is really nice, but you gotta weigh the pros and the cons. And pretty much every time when I backpacked with this bag here, I was in pain, and I would constantly think to myself, like, man, why am I out here doing this? But I don't feel that way backpacking anymore. My system is so down to the T, lightweight, that it's not a hassle at all. It's not hard in the slightest for me to go any amount of distance. So you really want to be able to enjoy the outdoors and enjoy your backpacking experience without being in pain the entire time. And that takes, like I said, time and money. I mean, the light stuff is not cheap at all. I'm a budget shopper, and tons of my stuff clearance. I mean, even the Red Cloud here, I got that for $100. I thought it was a steal at the time. It was Black Friday. So you don't have to spend tons and tons of money. I actually think there's nothing in my system that I paid full price for. If money's an issue, price check everything, look around everywhere, check eBay, Amazon. You'll find that decent deals come up quite often if you're just patient. Well, thanks for watching the video, guys. I think that pretty much wraps it up here as far as what not to bring backpacking. There's plenty of stuff not to bring backpacking, and I only covered just a couple things here, but hopefully it's helpful to you guys in some way. And the biggest thing, if you're new to backpacking, just do your research. The amount of YouTube videos out there for planning backpacking trips is amazing. It is really, really a great resource for fellow backpackers. So get out there, go buy some cheap gear from Walmart or wherever you can. Use stuff you got laying around the house, whatever gets you out on the trail, gets you started, gets you addicted to that outdoor feeling. Thanks for watching the video, guys. If this helped any of you guys out, if you enjoyed it, hit that like button. Let me know that you want to see more videos like this in the comments. This is kind of a new format for me. I'm going to try to do some more informative talking videos here. If you guys want to see that, you got some ideas for me, put them down in the comments. I'd love to hear what you guys would like to see. And if I like it, maybe I'll make a video out of it. So thanks for watching, guys. We'll see you on the next one.